Hello and welcome back to The Stack, and here are today's top stories. The first story, we have some big news for you from the horrific July 4th shooting from Highland Park, Illinois. The alleged shooter's ex-football coach has revealed some troubling details about the suspect's parents. The football coach pointed out some things that made him nervous for a long time. So the coach, who ran an after-school sports program, said that the alleged shooter's parents were always the last to pick up the boy and his younger brother, and they sometimes even needed to be reminded to do so. He says every week the kids were the last there. We'd have to call their parents to pick them up. So the alleged shooter might have been totally ignored by his parents. But he says the kid was really quiet and soft-spoken. And he specifically is calling out the mother as being a more actively problematic parent. He says that the mother got into it once with one of the heads of the program and that she was yelling and that her kids were like a nuisance to her. And then he says as the boy, the alleged shooter, got older, the neighbors started saying that things escalated. One neighbor says the signs were there for a long time. There were always police cars at the house. The parents were arguing and fighting all the time. And then police also had 2 run-ins with the accused shooter and his family in 2019. So it looks like the signs were here that something was going to happen for a long time, both with the parents and with the alleged shooter himself. So I think it's always important to look at the parents in situations like this and see if some of their actions or inaction maybe contributed to the event. I think that's a really important part of the investigation. And the second story, last week we talked to you about the joke of a witness, City Hutchinson, of the January 6th committee. So Liz Cheney and the Democrats, they brought this witness in and they said it was a bombshell testimony and, it's going to be the end of Donald Trump. Well, quickly after the committee hearing, where at the end, this witness, City Hutchinson, hugged Liz Cheney, it came out that pretty much everything she said was fake news. It was totally debunked. She may have been lying to the committee, which means she could end up spending 5 years in prison because of it. Well, now there's even more evidence that has come out that makes her look like a total fraud. Reportedly, she said in text messages that this January 6th committee is a bunch of BS. That's right. The Democrats' bombshell witness on the January 6th committee, she called the committee a bunch of BS. So I think that's pretty stunning. Again, it makes this witness look like a total fraud, and it totally makes sense why all of her testimony has pretty much been debunked at this point in time. And the third story, a woke employee managed to get himself fired for refusing to do his job because he was in mourning over Roe v. Wade being reversed. So this guy worked at Universal Music Enterprises, and the day after the Supreme Court ruling that overturned Roe v. Wade, he refused to do his work because of it, and he said that he was in mourning, and he sent an email out to a bunch of people blaming the Roe v. Wade decision for not being able to do his work. And well, not long after that, the company decided to fire him. Look, your wokeness can sometimes lead to you losing a job. When you take wokeness into the workplace, this is what happens. The workplace, the world has no time for your wokeness. That's just the message that I want to send. If you're woke, whatever. Just keep it out of the workplace and keep it out of everyone else's business because no one wants to deal with it. Also, who goes into mourning over babies' lives being saved? Like, it's so disturbing that this guy had to mourn this decision. But this is the modern left. So if you want to stay up to date on the latest on woke employees melting down, the latest on the sham January 6th committee hearing and the latest updates on the tragic July 4th shooting, you can head to westernjournal.com, and please be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode of The Stack.